Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Uncommon Sense with Jose Negro. Um, for the benefit of those who are not familiar with the channel or possibly watching this on for the very first time, on this channel, what we do is we discuss everyday issues where we try to seek logical solutions. Unfortunately, not everyone uses logic. So, for that reason, it is called uncommon sense. I just want to let everybody know that we're currently live on YouTube, Facebook, and Periscope on Twitter. First of all, I just want to thank everybody who has subscribed to my channel and has been following me. Okay. For those of you who have not done so, I'm going to ask that you please subscribe, like, hit the bell notification to all. So therefore, whenever I do go live, um, you will be given the opportunity to watch it live or catch it on the playback. So the theme for today is how to run a romantic relationship. Now, let me just state this. I'm going to be sharing information based on personal experiences with my love life. So I'm going to state some issues where it can affect a romantic relationship. There could be other issues as well. What I'm going to do is, first of all, just give me a moment. I'm going to drop the link. So anybody, if they wish, can join the panel and share their personal experiences as far as relationships are concerned. Okay. Also, I encourage everybody, if you wish to make a comment, you can leave it your comments as well, not just on the chat, but after the stream is over, you can also place your comments. Well, I do ask that you please be respectable um, and be mindful. You know, no one is obligated to watch my content. Now, before we get into the topic of today, there's a couple of things I need to discuss. As you can see, for the time being, I'm going to be going live at 6 o'clock Sunday afternoon. I might change it depending what is the situation, and the whole point of it is trying to accommodate Latin explaining, so that way my stream would not be in conflict with hers. Um, I don't know what's going to happen with the channel. I'm sure when when time is appropriate, she'll give an explanation. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share another episode of What the Heck Is This? Just give me a moment. Now, I'm going to share with you the latest issue of What the Heck Is This? Now, for some reason, on two of my videos that have appeared on YouTube, I've gotten copyright strikes. Actually, on Facebook, I'm sorry, on Facebook, from an organization called Star Hits, they filing a claim regarding my content. And the crazy part is the timestamps that they filed the claim is when I was speaking. So how can I be violating copyright material when it's my own material? So what I've done is I have disputed both claims, and I was successful. Now I don't know why. Um, what is the case? Um, Okay. So, you know, that's a weird situation. Um, so, what I'm going to be doing is not. I'm going to be sharing information. Like I said, I did prepare a Word document. So what I'm going to be doing is sharing the Word document. Now, it's not meant to be a very extensive list of things that can damage a relationship. It's just some things. It could be other things. Some of them have to do with at the beginning and the middle of a relationship. And why I'm bringing this to your attention, to be mindful of those situations. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. Just give me a moment. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to check and see if I'm sharing my screen. Okay, I am. So what I did was I listed 12 things that can ruin a romantic relationship. Again, okay, it looks like I'm not sharing my screen for whatever reason. Just give me a moment. Okay. What I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna read it off because something is not showing up. Uh, these are something. Okay, here. These are some things that can ruin a romantic relationship. Number one, not defining what you seek in a relationship. Okay, now let me specify what that means. Whenever you get involved with someone, uh, regardless whether it be of the opposite sex or the same sexes or or undefined sex, you need to define from the beginning um, what you expect out of the relationship. What are your boundaries, so to speak? And it's very important that you make this clear on the person that you wish to pursue. You need to be transparent as what you are expecting. Now, if you're the type of person that wish to, so to speak, exercise your options, you need to make that clear in the beginning. And then it'll be up to the person to make the determination whether or not that person wishes to pursue a relationship with you. It's extremely important that you spell out at the beginning to avoid any conflicts pertaining to a romantic relationship. And this is applicable to male and female. Um, Let me just state this disclaimer. Um, I'm going to be speaking in both terms of male and female. So I'm not going to be singling out just the males. I'm not going to be singling out the females. And I'm going to make this disclaimer a couple times throughout this presentation. So therefore, people have a clear understanding. Now, number two, this is how I can ruin a romantic relationship. Not having realistic expectations. Now, let me explain what I mean by that. You could have certain desires, you could have certain expectations. However, you should do whatever you can to make it realistic. Um, now, I actually watched a video of another YouTube creator. I'm not going to mention this person's name because I don't want to get hit with a copyright strike. But this creator shared a video where a dude went out with a lady and they went to his apartment and they spent night together, and then apparently they have a romantic encounter, And then when he got up and he saw this lady without all her makeup, and he was disappointed because the female had had a skin condition which was hidden by makeup. Now, to the credit of this person, um, he was honest with the lady, as far as not wishing to pursue it because he cannot deal with her skin condition. So, in a sense, he was honest about it. However, this individual did not have a realistic expectation. Now, unrealistic expectation goes both ways. Okay, like for the men, we want women, or many of us want women, to play their traditional female roles, as far as being a nurturer, supporter, being like wife life. However, um, there are certain men that are not prepared to play the role of a traditional male. And also, there are some men that are very superficial. They're just looking for the women with the curves, with the nice boobs and the nice butt and what have you. And I'm not. I don't want to go any further because I don't want to get into trouble with YouTube regarding content. Okay. Um, but let's keep it real. For many men, we are visual, and the first thing that draws attention is how a lady looks like. However, it's only superficial. So therefore, those of us that wish to pursue a realistic relationship need to get past the exterior and think about what are some of the um, beliefs and goals and values that the female have. Now, what situation that's happening with a lot of modern women is that they are expecting the guys, just give me a moment, to have, excuse me, okay, to have a six pack, be 6 feet tall, and make a six-figure income. Okay. The problem with that is, first of all, there is not a great deal of men out there who are 6 feet tall, who are physically fit to have a six pack and making a six-figure salary. Those men that are out there who have all that, they are not me. And due to the fact, okay, just give me a moment. Okay, okay. Sorry about that. Um, so as I was saying, those few men that fit that category, you have a large number of women that are going to compete for such an individual. That is the reality. Okay, so there's going to be a great deal of competition for those men. So bearing that in mind, you have some women, and again, some who think of themselves as a 10, where they're really more like a 5 or a 4. And those are women who are not physically fit, overweight, single mothers, um, women with high body counts, and single mothers with a lot of trauma, and women with a lot of baggage from previous relationships. Now, let me make this perfectly clear. I'm not bashing single moms. Not all single moms are the same. I know there are single moms that are very responsible and they conduct themselves very well. Unfortunately, you have those who do not. So let us go to number 3. Not being honest. When you are pursuing a relationship with an individual, try to be as transparent as possible. You need to state what you are looking for in a companion. You need to state values. You need to state what you're looking for as a potential partner. Okay. Unfortunately, both men and women. Okay. Okay, let's just take a look. Oops, sorry. I see we have a comment. Okay, well, good afternoon, radicals. It's good to see you. I mean, that's one way of looking at it, but let's just continue. Okay. Number 4, being unfaithful. Now, let me explain what that means. Okay, first of all, if you state to your significant other that you wish to pursue an exclusive relationship with someone, and then you decide to hook up with another person, that's an issue. Now, for some people, it is a deal breaker. For others, it's not a deal breaker. But what it does is it damages the trust in relationship. Because think about it. You are in a relationship, and whenever the male or the female, okay, I think we have another comment. Just give me a moment. Okay. Okay. Point well taken. I'm not going to point well taken. Let's go. Okay, whoops. Okay. So whenever there is infidelity, those trust issues need to be reconciled if it can be reconciled. Some people are unable to reconcile trust issues. Okay. Number 6, not being able to compromise. One thing to bear in mind, that when you are in a relationship, you're dealing with another person. Okay? So it cannot be everything my way. In a relationship, there's give and take. And it could be anything. It could be where you go out to eat. It could be whether you go away on a vacation. You need to be able to compromise, which means, okay, you know what? Today we're going to do this. Tomorrow we'll do that. Or it could be, you know what? You bring up a very interesting point, and I think I'm going to implement it. So these are something to consider. You know what? Okay, you know what? Okay, now I see your point, Radical. Yeah, you know what? That so we're gonna disregard number 11. Um, so we're gonna go on to number 7. Not being accountable for your actions. Now, what I mean by that is as follows: if you make a mistake, instead of passing the buck or passing the blame uh, to another person, be accountable for your actions. Now, I have a saying. Now, it's not good English, but um, it is appropriate. And my saying is, whenever you mess up, fess up. Meaning, if you make a mistake, acknowledge that you made the mistake, and then take a look at the mistake that you made, evaluate it, and learn from it. So, therefore, you do not make that same mistake again. And let me give you an example. Um, if you have a tendency of breaking wind, okay, let's see. I think Radical has another comment. Let's take a look. Okay, you know what? I get the point is I got it. Okay, it took me 2 minutes, but I got it. Okay, so give me a little, give me a little slack on that. Okay. Now let's go back to okay. Okay, what was I? So you need to be accountable for your actions. Number 8, not listening. Okay. Now I'm gonna make a distinction between hearing and listening. When you hear another person speaking, but the words is not registering in your mind. When you are listening, what you're doing is you're taking you're receiving the words, you're receiving the message that's being given to you. So what you're doing in your mind is you're analyzing it, and you think, you know what? Maybe what she's saying makes sense. Maybe when I go to the bathroom to enter the call of nature, maybe I need to be mindful to put the lid down. Or if I'm taking a shower, making sure that the water doesn't leak into the bathroom floor. Or it could be, if my lady is making a suggestion, and maybe I should hear what she's suggesting. Um, okay. Number 9, being selfish. Because remember, when you are in a relationship, it's not just you. It's you and your partner. So you need to be mindful of what your partner is saying. You need to be mindful of your partner's feelings. You need to be mindful of your partner's concerns. You need to be mindful of everything that your partner is experiencing. Okay? Unfortunately, when you are selfish, it's me first, me second, me third, me fourth, on and on and on and on. And the reality is, when you're selfish, you're not helping your relationship in any way, shape, of harm. Okay. Number 10, not being able to accept the individual. Now, number 10, it's similar in some ways to number 2. And let me explain what I mean by that. Um, each one of us has a thing called a checklist, which is a list of things that we're looking for in a partner. Now, when we are younger, um, we have certain expectations, which on the surface, it sounds great. It sounds wonderful. But the reality is that not many people can satisfy the checklist in its entirety. Now, when you do get older, um, you are able to look at things in a more realistic way. And you something think, you know what? This person may not be able to satisfy number one, but satisfies number two, three. That person may not satisfy number four, but satisfies number five. And it's a more realistic appraisal. And again, part of the problem is this: for the men, we want the woman that's younger, that has the curves and the figure and whatever, and be like you know like a movie star. And then for the guy, I mean for the women, they're expecting a man to have a six pack, be 6 feet tall, and have a six-figure income. Now, I remember late last year, I saw a play called The Checklist. Now, in this play, it is about a person. You have a person where a man who was African American was dating a lady who was a Dominican. Now, she is the only female in her family not married. So she fell in love with this guy. However, she had a checklist. She had a list of demands that she wanted her guy to be. And one of the demands is the man have no children. Now, the problem was the man in question had a son from a previous relationship. And the mistake that the man made was he hid the fact that he had a son from this lady. Now, what happened was eventually the lady found out that the guy had a son and they had a falling out. So what the man did was he had a discussion with her father. Now, what he did was he explained himself, apologized for the fact of hiding the fact that he had a son, expressed his love for the lady, and asked for an opportunity to discuss this with the lady and just to try to make amends. So the father was able to convince the lady to allow the guy to speak with her. He explained the situation. She forgave him, and the couple were married. So that's an example where the lady had a hard time accepting the man because he had a son. And also the same thing could apply to like when it comes to dating single moms. Now, not everyone can date a single mom, okay? But there are those that can. But it all goes back with you have to be able to accept the person as they are and not have a crazy and extreme concept about the other person, which which you do have to compromise. And then number 12, not willing to solve issues. Now, there's going to be issues in every relationship sooner or later. Why? Because when you have two people, you're going to have two different points of view. And there's going to be a situation where the two views clash. And sometimes those clashes will be major. So the question is, how serious are you and how committed you are to this relationship? If you are serious about the other person, you will do what you can to resolve whatever issues that are involved. Now, let me just give you a case in point regarding my ex-wife. We have had several issues. Among the issues that we had was trust issues. She had made certain false allegations of infidelity with me. And at one point, she actually asked my mother if I had someone on the side, which really bothered me to no end. Because first of all, if you are concerned whether or not I'm being faithful, discuss it with me. You do not discuss it with my mom. You do not discuss it with my siblings. You do not discuss it with my friends or neighbors. If you have a concern whether or not I am being faithful, you discuss it with me. And the fact of the matter is, I was faithful to my spouse for the entire length of the marriage, which was 2 years. Unfortunately, my spouse at the time was not willing to do her part to try to resolve issues. Now, let me make it perfectly clear. I'm not saying it's all her fault. I have a role in this. I'm partially responsible for my part. I am responsible for my words. I am responsible for my actions, and I did take accountability regarding my words, my thoughts, and my actions. Unfortunately, my ex-wife was not in a position to do so. So as a result, unfortunately, it ended in divorce. Even though there have been many attempts to try to reconcile, even though there have been many attempts um, to try to have a discussion, unfortunately, when you're dealing with a relationship where there's issues, both parties must be willing to discuss the issues rationally and logically and do whatever is possible to resolve those issues. And I had to make a decision to end the marriage because I have to think about my mental well being. And the reality is, I did not want to remain in a toxic relationship with someone that did not want to resolve their issues. And then I'm going to park it here. Okay. So again, I would encourage anybody to enter their comments. The link is there if you wish to join the panel. Okay, and I see we have someone here. So I'm going to read the disclaimer. The views of the guests who appear on the channel are not necessarily the views of the host nor of this channel. Any attempt to copy the material without the consent of the host, Jose Negron, or the channel, Uncommon Sense with Jose Negron, is prohibited. By appearing on the call, you waive the rights to the image of your channel. Some of the views which guests may hold may be considered offensive to some viewers. Those on the panel who appear to be under the influence of alcohol or drugs will be removed from the panel and forever banned from Uncommon Sense with Jose Negron. If you do not like the content, you can block the channel. Okay, and then we're gonna. Hello, Rakim.
Hey, shout out to my YouTube dad, Jose. How's everything going?
Hi, I'm doing fine. I don't know if you caught any point of the PowerPoint that I made. I was just discussing certain things that can damage a romantic relationship.
Yes. I didn't catch the PowerPoint in particular because I was walking away from my phone. Had my phone on the opposite end of the house while I was like eating. But can you elaborate on a few of those things?
Yeah, I would. I would do that. You see, I was just sharing some personal experiences. Some of the things that can ruin a romantic relationship, starting with not having clear expectation what you're looking for as far as the relationship is concerned. Also, another issue is not having realistic expectations. And this is applicable to the male and female. Okay. Now, as far as the male is, some of us want the women to be like, a beautifully sculptured lady, looks like a 10 with the curves and the boobs and the butt and what have you, be drop that gorgeous. And then when we see them without their makeup, we get horrified because, okay, we have. Good afternoon, Morena. Thank you very much for your visit. Also, other things that can damage a romantic relationship, where there's no honesty, there is infidelity, also not willing to resolve issues. So, what's your take on that?
I think that's absolutely correct. Me personally, I've experienced also baggage from prior relationships can definitely destroy a relationship. My personal experience when I was in a relationship with particular woman that I was dating, it was the baggage that destroyed the relationship. Somebody being emotionally scarred or emotionally broken prior to before meeting you. I don't think a lot of the times that can be fixed or corrected. I think therapy can help, but therapy can help in support of, them trying to resist what they're used to doing or resist that particular mentality. But a lot of the times, if a person is not really willing to work on themselves, or is not really willing to compromise, then the relationship is going to tank, and it's going to tank fast. And before you know it, you all are going to separate and go your separate ways.
Mm-hmm. Well, let me make this perfectly clear. I made this disclaimer in the beginning, and I'm going to make it again. These are mistakes that both male and female make. Okay, so I don't want to make it sound like I'm anti-female or whatever. And like I said, I see that she's giving you a shout out, Morena.
Shout out to Morena. Shout out to Morena. That's my girl all day, 24/7.
Yeah, she had a very interesting stream earlier this morning. Unfortunately, I didn't catch it live. I
Yeah, I
comment
hate that I
on
missed it
that.
as well.
Yeah, but it was a very interesting topic regarding transgender youth. That's that's a not an easy topic to discuss, and I admire the way that Morana addressed it. Okay, and let's see. You're quite welcome, Morana. I think I think you've done an excellent job discussing a topic that's very difficult.
Well, it's not, in my personal opinion, it's not really that difficult to speak on certain topics. It's just that a lot of people just don't want to take the risk for, the consequences of dealing with this. Usually, in my personal opinion, when it comes to things like that, I believe people should have been more preemptive, because one thing history has shown us to repeat itself in is, like, a lot of movements start out, you know, for the right things, in mind, but a lot of the times it becomes more corrupted and becomes about power, and then it becomes about pushing the narrative to make everybody, bend to, whatever agenda that, people that have corrupted the movement has, started. And once that train get rolling and it's money behind that train, and it's, all types of, people that got, influence behind that train, it's hard to stop it.
I just want to say you're welcome, Morena. Like I said before, and I really did appreciate catching it on the playback. Um, Let me just see what she's saying. Yes, I agree. I agree. You address that issue with a great deal of respect, with a great deal of dignity in regards to these individuals, because unfortunately, they deal with a lot of mental and emotional garbage, and unfortunately, they also face a great deal of rejection. They also deal with a great deal of depression, and some of them, have contemplating committing suicide because the fact of the matter is they are rejected by loved ones and peers and whatnot.
Absolutely. And one thing that Morena had touched on with her live, because we have to imagine, even before, the conversation of, transformation and different things like that, um, kids have made mistakes that affected their lives, well, like way before uh, gender transformation. So you can only imagine when you throw something in there like that, and then it's no reversal. Because just think of, I think of all the kids that made mistakes that I've grown up with that have affected their lives, into
Mhm.
their adulthood. So you can only imagine throwing that element in there. And then a lot of kids get this idea of wanting to be trans, and they don't even know where it might sprout up from. Well, I got an idea where it may sprout up from. You know, well, we're seeing it being implemented in cartoons now. We're seeing them trying to implement classes, um, in schools and everything. So it's planting the seed in these children's heads. And a lot of these children may get confused, or they may want to think that's the right thing to do. And then, their decision, their idea of it may change. And then once they decide that their idea has changed on it, it's no reversing things. And a lot of decisions people make in life, once they realize they're trapped, or they realize they can't change certain mistakes that they made, buyer's regret sets in, where, and that can affect people's mental health. You'll see people trying to, completely destroy a structure that's built up because of their wrong decisions. And they felt like now that they're secluded from that structure. So you can only imagine what's going on when you throw in that type of element. And the people that are doing this, they don't care. They don't care about your children. They don't care about whose children are affected. They look at these children as these children are casualties of our agenda. You know, people going to be ruined mentally, but hey, that's a small price to pay for what we're trying to accomplish here. And that's something that a lot of people need to understand. It's all right to, hey, I'm all for equality. I won't look at you any different from what you are or what you want to be or who you feel that you are as a person. But once you um keep kind of like pushing the goalposts and pushing this and keep like going forth with a narrative, and you give a person an inch and they take a mile, that's when I'm starting to look at you side-eyed and say, well, is this about equality or is this about dominance and power?
Mhm. Well, I'm just looking, no, actually, Morena does agree with you 100%. Um, Unfortunately, you have certain individuals that look at our youth not as individuals but as pawns. I mean, once you become an adult, and if you feel that you need to um, change your identification, that's perfectly fine. But let's go back to the original topic.
Okay, right
Um,
before we do, Jose, I just
yeah,
wanted to make one statement on what you said about how people can use the youth as pawns. And that's something that I want people to keep in mind when it comes to anything. I remember watching a movie that was about war. And it was this guy, he was in Czechoslovakia, and he hated the things that he did in the war. He said, if the United States was involved in that war at the time, I would be arrested for war crimes. And it was a guy that told him, you did what you had to do. We're a war. He was like, that war was unnecessary. Let me tell you something about war. War is nothing more but the young and stupid being tricked by the old and bitter. And that's something that people should keep in mind. A lot of the times, a lot of people are bitter, or they feel shut out of certain things, and even if they don't live to see things change, they don't care if it's destabilizing society, as long as they want things their way. And if they feel like they can't ever be a part of that, then it wouldn't hurt them to be in their 70s and 80s and look at how they corrupted the next generation to do the things that they wanted to accomplish. So we got to keep that in mind.
yeah. And the thing is, the people who are most anxious to start a war, they're not the young people who have to go and fight and then deal with the psychological and physical damages involved. It's usually people, well, I hate to say this, but people of my generation and then older are usually the ones that are crying for war. And that's one of the things that, that troubles me regarding people of my generation. Thank you, Morana. Unfortunately, some people are used as pawns. I do want to acknowledge the fact that 3 people are currently watching the stream. If anyone else want to enter the panel, the link is there if you wish to join. Also, you can enter your comments. Also, after the stream, if you have any other comments that you wish to share, you can enter them. Or I ask is to please keep it respectable. Okay. Yeah. You know, it's 3 people, so probably more people will catch it on the playback. Okay. And of course, this is just another experiment as far as when to do these streams. And one of the reasons why I chose this stream to not to conflict with other creators. I mean, but of course, everything is hit and miss. Um, do you have any other personal observations that you wish to make regarding what things can ruin or destroy a romantic relationship?
Um, Absolutely. I mean, just what you had already covered within your PowerPoint. Distrust, distrust, not being completely honest about what your expectations are in a relationship and keeping realistic expectations. I had a friend of mine's, like, every time I would speak with the guy, he would always be playing victim in this relationship. Whatever relationship he was in, he was the victim. Well, it comes to turns out that it was never the fault, that it was never that he was the victim. A lot of the times he was very immature and he just didn't want to work. He didn't want to work. And we all know as a man, you have to work when you're in a relationship. You're the primary breadwinner. And but he would, tell me, these lies here and there about, this person was doing this. Everything he was the victim of. And he's a real good friend of mine, but I would advise women to be very cautious of people like that. And sometimes with us, we can be so addicted to a person's personality, whether it be a man or a woman, that we don't look at the red flags. Or we can be so attracted to a person, like this person matches everything that I want attractive wise, and we don't look at those red flags. And those red flags become soaked in gasoline down the line, and they set ablaze to the whole house. So that's something that you want to be very cautious of, you know, and never be afraid to, I don't care if you're 3 months, 6 months into a relationship, never be afraid to pull back if you realize those red flags are something that you're not going to be able to deal with. Or if you realize the person is not being honest and things are not adding up to what they're telling you, or you finding out underlying secrets, through third parties or people that may know this person, down the line. That's something that you want to be very cautious of, because if a person is not honest in the beginning of the relationship, it's only going to be a matter of time before their dishonesty, affects you wholeheartedly and just ruin everything. And it can ruin you in a multitude of ways, whether it be financial, physical, anything.
Yeah, that's a problem because unfortunately, when you're in love, um, you're not always thinking clearly. You're going based on the emotion, the feeling of being in love, the thing that, having romantic thoughts, thinking that you're interested in someone and you're perceiving that that other person is interested in you. So you have to think with your head. And when I mean head, I mean the brain, not the other part. Um, you have to analyze, and you have to take a look, and be honest.
Right.
If there's red flags, it needs to be addressed.
Yeah.
So,
Like, shout out to shout out to New York City and shout out to the Bronx, because I know you and Morena are both from the Bronx. But like the great Bronx legend said, KRS-One, love's gonna get you. So you need to ask yourself, is this love more, am I willing to sacrifice whatever that I have that may cost me over the love of this person, over the attraction of this person, over the lust of this person? That's something you gotta ask yourself, because there's been plenty of people that say, well, I love him and I love her, and then 10 years down the line that love dissipates and it turns to hatred because you realize that this person ruined your life and you blindly, love this person. Now you're mad at everybody. You're mad at the world. You're mad at women. You're mad at men. And it just turns you into a bitter person because you wish you can reverse the hands of time.
mhm. Now, I would appreciate, the three people viewing it. I would like to see 3 likes, because I think we are discussing an issue that needs to be discussed. And yes, I agree, Morena. So But getting back to the issue. This is something that both male and female are guilty of. So it's not an all female thing. It's not an all male thing. But one thing I do notice, at least in social media, um, and I'm going to make this perfectly clear: not all women are guilty of this. Some are, okay, which is not accepting accountability for their actions. I mean, if you ask some women, it's just basically the guy is toxic, the guy is difficult, we couldn't communicate. It could be 50 million things that the guy did wrong. When a relationship ends, um, it's usually something that that both parties did. Okay. When I divorced my ex-wife, I can say without hesitation, there were some things that I did that did not help the marriage. And there was other things that she did that did not help the marriage. Unfortunately, we were never able to come to the point when we could reconcile these issues, and we had to separate. Rakim?
Oh yes, I didn't know if you was finished making your statement,
Yeah.
Jose. Um, when it comes to being toxic, let's just talk about toxic for a second. I've had this conversation with numerous women before. Shout out to Morena. I've had this conversation with people before, and when it comes to being a toxic person, I don't like toxic. I don't like toxicity. I grew up in a very toxic environment, and usually toxicity is nothing but a dressed up word for negativity, problematic, a very
Hmm.
negative thing. I knew girls who they would say that certain men was toxic. I knew women who've gotten into shootouts with men that they were with, and for some of these women, they wasn't honest. They didn't. They just liked it. The problems. They liked it. The thrill. They liked it. All of that. They like arguing with a man and cursing him out and him not. And they liked it. A lot of that stuff. Me personally, when the one chick was telling me that I know from my neighborhood, she was attracted to that. Even when it was a shootout that took place at a gas station and everything, she was caught in the middle of that from her toxic boyfriend. To I don't know to the next person, but to me, shootouts are not fun. I don't find anything fun about that. You can get hit. You can uh, you know, be seriously damaged, critically wounded, or fatally wounded. And I don't see anything fun about that. That is a life or death situation. But of course, we all grew up in the same area, so I understand somewhat where she was coming from, but not like somewhat that you should be attracted to that. And I understand if it's a situation or something like that occurs, but nothing like that. You should find that exciting. There's nothing exciting about that. That's a gamble with your life. But like toxic people that just have negative energy, that's just disrespectful, that's just rude, you know, um, dysfunction. I don't like dysfunction at all. Like I said, I come from dysfunction. I don't like it. When it comes to toxic, I look at toxic as problematic, and I solve problems because I don't want problems around me. We got enough problems day to day just trying to make it. Inflation, the dealing with the after effects of COVID, Scott gas prices plummeting. I mean, gas price skyrocketing. Um, the dollar, value going down. So it's costing twice as much to make it and to live. Like who the hell wants toxicity in their relationship or toxicity with a partner in their life that they're supposed to be on the same page with? You want toxic? Watch a soap opera. We can watch, drama films on television and Netflix or something, but usually you want to be on the same page as the person that you're with. And that goes for men too. If a man usually if a man is a toxic person, more than likely, ladies, I know as much as you will want him to, he's not going to change. Especially if he's gotten it up there in his late 20s, early 30s, mid 30s, 40s. He's not going to change. They like usually men like that are just parasites that look for a host to attach to. And that's something that a lot of women would understand. If he's not focused on, you know, trying to build up his credit or not focused on trying to, I don't give a damn if you have to go to a library and get a book on real estate. Just trying to educate yourself day to day and trying to learn how to be more of a provider and learn how to be something, that, he can look down the line and say, I've changed for the better. Then that man, you need to let him go, because once you let him go, just like a parasitic just like a parasitic being, they're going to leave you as a host and they're going to attach themselves to another host. And usually it's going to be somebody that's a little bit more naive until they damage that person. And then they're going to go on and damage the next person. I'm with you on that one, Morana. And let's say not like build the man is in the sense of that I can respect the man that just don't know, but he's trying to learn. I can't respect the man that knows he don't know and don't want to learn nothing, don't want to build nothing, don't want to establish nothing. Men like that, nah. That's a no-go. And usually those are the men like that, they don't really hang around other men that are doing something or trying to establish something, because they know what the time of day is on that.
One thing is I can respect a person who acknowledges their flaws and then at least make an attempt to change their ways. I have more respect for a person who can actually say, you know what, I screwed up. I'm going to try to learn from this situation and make myself a better person. But when you are in a situation when you're not prepared to acknowledge when you screwed up and you're not prepared to learn from your mistakes, um, that could be a big problem, and that could occur with both men and women.
Absolutely, because that's when you start looking at things that it's a difference, because a mistake is not intentional. A mistake is a mistake. But
Yeah.
when it becomes the same mistake over and over again, that's intentional.
Hmm.
And now I feel that you are intentionally testing my patience. I feel like you're intentionally trying to ruin things. I feel like you intentionally just want to, not want anything for yourself in life. And that's when you got to go. So, and people need to understand that, like, everything's all good until your 20s, man. Once you start getting into your 30s, and your 40s, you still got some youth left, but you're too old for the BS. And you don't want to
Yeah.
deal with the BS. You're looking for somebody to establish something with. I want you to be interested in some of the same things I'm interested in. I want to travel. I want to look into the history of the different islands that I want to visit, or like going to Africa or Europe, or different places like that. I want you to be interested in some of the things that I want to. I don't want you to be interested in drama. I don't want you to, hear what your girlfriend's got going on, and or maybe your girlfriend's trying to make you feel guilty for having a decent relationship. Now you are intentionally ruining your relationship, or maybe subconsciously ruining your relationship without realizing, because you letting what they tell you about theirs rub off you, or you are surrounded by a lot of negative, toxic girlfriends, and you feel like the oddball out of your group because you actually got a good man to go home to. Stuff like that, man. Nah, you can nah. You can take that back to the nest on top of the tree. That's for the birds.
Well, I think it's a tragedy that if an individual gets close to my age, because I'm going to be 60. Um, Let me just see. I think we have a new person here, which is the unknown. Let's see. Yes, you in relationship are not staying with it when it gets rocky. If a relationship you're in is not abusive or the other person is childish, then there's no reason why it should not work out. Interesting point, unknown. Um, and then he says, okay, you were in a relationship, okay. So it's based, okay, okay. Um, Interesting point. First of all, I just want to give a shout out to the unknown. I think this is the first time um, on this channel. I don't know whether it's a male or female, and I don't want to, uh, how can I say, address that the unknown in the improper gender. But unknown, welcome to Uncommon Sense. Thank you very much for entering your comments into the chat. Rocky?
Yes.
Okay. So I see. Okay. So Moran says, possibly.
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, I agree to an extent. It depends on who you're dealing with, in a relationship. Of course, I believe that as well. If a person is not abusive or childish, but if a person has, you should be able to work with it. But what's the time limit on that though? Before, if that person is dragging you down in a relationship, what's the time limit on that? Should it be a year? Should it be 2 years for you, for a person to try to get their act together? I understand that us as human beings, we all have issues. And of course, you should work through those issues. But if it's something that's damaging, such as a person is not fiscally responsible, a person, they're always and they always have a uh negative energy about them, different things like that. How long is it before things like that starts to take its toll and you feel that it's not worth your time?
Okay. To be perfectly honest, um, that's a case by case scenario because not every scenarios are the same. Exactly, Roman. So it depends. First of all, what is the nature of the issue or issues involved, and also it also depends if this is just developing in the relationship, or this is something with that relationship that lasted for a certain length of time. So I think it's going to be a case by case situation and it's going to vary. So there's no right or wrong way as far as the length of time involved. It all depends on whether both parties, both male and female, or both of the same sex, because you can have um, same sex relationships. Um, the fact of the matter is, are both parties involved? Are they willing to honestly discuss the issues? Willing to own up to their mistakes, and then trying to learn from the mistakes so it does not occur.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because the thing is, like, no relationship is perfect. It's going to be, trials and tribulations in every relationship. But we, like, as long as a person is working on it, trying to improve on certain things, then things should be able to work out in your favor. But one more important aspect that we're looking that we're not looking at when it comes to relationships as well. Keep people out of your business. Keep
Hmm.
family, and find one or two people that you can confide in. If you're going through issues, but social media is kind of like, it's like if you like for instance, you wouldn't go sprouting all your personal business on social media because people don't have the best intentions. They want, they're like, hey, I'm miserable. Thanks for that information because now I want you to be twice as miserable. So it makes me feel good about me being miserable. So it's the same thing when it comes to relationships. A lot of people need to, keep people out of their relationships. You do not want to give people ammunition to bring up things that you may have gone through in your past relationships, to talk down upon you, or judge you in a particular way. If you think it's something that you may feel ashamed about in your relationship that you was dealing with, it's best to keep that to yourself. Even if things are going well in your relationship and things have been going pretty good in your relationship, it's best to keep that to yourself, because a lot of the times people are not happy and they're looking to just destroy what you got going on and just see it fall apart, just to give them some type of security about where they're at in their life. And that's something that you don't want to deal with.
Right. The unknown made another point, which is at this point in life, people need to stay single because people aren't willing to work things out, even if both parties are willing. That's
Oh,
one.
can I say something on that, Jose?
Sure, go ahead.
That's the thing. Like, that's the thing, man. Too many people. Your grandma taught you, or your mother taught you. Misery loves company, man. Unfortunately, but we also know the term, I can do bad all by myself. I can do bad all by myself. Like, too many people are miserable, and they don't want to be miserable alone. They want to, project that misery on somebody else. That's why you see, hey, I'm sorry to say this, but that's why you see a lot of ladies, they're quick to complain about what they won't do for a man, but yet they're complaining about not having a man. It's because, a lot of people are miserable, or if they do get a person, they want to have that person, um they want to change that person to their specifications. Like, for instance, if you're talking about women that think, oh, I'm not doing this for no man, I'm not fixing this man no play, I'm not doing this and I'm not doing that, but he better do this for me, and he need to do this for me, and he better not expect me to do anything, just my presence is enough. Or just like, I can't seem to find no good relationship, but I still want a relation. What are you looking for? Like, you should be happy being by yourself if that's the case. But it to each his own, man. Like, some people out here, like, they just like they're lost and confused, or past mistakes have caught up to them, and they're just like, they want to, you know uh some people even get in relationships out of boredom. You have some women out there that just want to be able to say, I was in a relationship, it didn't go well, just to have something to talk about at the end of the day. And then you got men that just aren't productive at all. So it's like, whatever with them, don't matter how many women that they ruin in the process. It's just like, hey, as long as somebody take me in, I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to provide for anything, but as long as I got somebody that's going to take care of me. And those are the extremes. Those are not everybody. Those are just the extreme cases. Because then you got men who have it together, but they may be a little bit too controlling. Or you got certain women that have it together, but they may be looking for somebody that's subordinate underneath them because they want to run the relationship. So it's all over the place, man. Like, I would say for about 25% of the population to 30% of the population unknown, a lot of people, those people should just remain single. But the thing is, once they remain single and they see your happiness for the 70%, they're crawling at them gates like the Walking Dead. They just trying to get in there to see what's the fuss about. Why y'all laughing? Why y'all so cheerful? Why y'all joking? Why y'all family so intact? I need to find a way to ruin that. I ain't got that.
I just want to address this point that the unknown. First of all, he's a male. Thank you for making it perfectly clear because I didn't want to address you incorrectly. Also, he made the following statement, which was parents and friends are killer in a relationship. They can be. I mean, it all depends. And then Morena says, yes, that's the worst. And then she says they become bitter. Um, but getting to your point, again, some people have unrealistic expectations. Like for example, uh, the woman that does not want to assume the role as a female, as a traditional female, but yet wants a traditional man to play his role. And the fact of the matter is, talking about, well, I'm not going to perform wifey duties as a girlfriend. Well, you're expecting the guy to play husband duties as a boyfriend. So so make that make sense. Okay, now I see the unknown says, yeah, I had to learn that my mother needed to stay in her lane. That saved my marriage. Well, I'm glad to hear that you was able to save your marriage, the unknown. So, Joaquin, what's your take on it?
Yeah, like that's what we're dealing with right now. Like, unfortunately, the women feel this way because first and foremost, all of the, I hate to say this because I do repeat myself when it comes to this, but media promotion between social media, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and NBC, ABC, the talk shows. What's that one talk shows? The talk, and then you got what the View, and then you got what the Real, and all of these different things have told women that they deserve it all and men don't deserve anything. So you should just be happy that I'm even speaking to you. And that's where we're at right now. Men cannot be vocal about anything. We cannot say what we don't like. We cannot say what we have an issue with, and we have to take women as they are, all of their flaws, all of their expectations, everything we have to meet. And unfortunately, this is one thing I don't like us as men. It has not been enough pushback on that end, which has caused things to go full circle into what we're dealing with right now. um the reason why a lot of this stuff has happened is because also with media promotion, things that have been promoted to women to string on their emotions, that's what sells. So now when you throw a whole economy behind that, and something that makes a lucrative profit, now you're going to get an overabundance of this rhetoric that's between that and feminism and everything else, that women can critique men, women can talk down on men, women can tell men what they want and what they're not going to do. And you better just be a man and suck it up. You better meet the expectations that I want you to meet, otherwise you're not a real man. And that's what we're dealing with right now. And in my personal opinion, man, we've been listening to a lot of this rhetoric for so long. We've become used to it. You even got some young boys that are confused, that's trying to meet all of these expectations, and realize that a lot of women are not even attracted to men that they can push over. So like it's all over the place right now, man. And for all of those women that feel that way, I would say kick rocks. You can kick rocks down the Grand Canyon. And I think a lot of men need to start, voicing their opinion and tell some of these women straight up, if you feel that you deserve this and that, what are you, or what are you matching with that? You
Okay.
know, and some of these women, they just think that, oh, just based off of the fact that I'm a woman. And these women, they're not really experiencing in a lot of things. I mean, talking about from younger women. You know, the women we're dealing with today are not the women of yesteryear. So I have to make that perfectly clear. And I'm not trying to bash the ladies. The thing is, like, ladies, when it comes to the men, we tell them we can hurt a man's feelings straightforward. Everybody hurts men's feelings, whether it be other men, whether it be women. But a lot of the times, a lot of these women are lied to by other women, and they're sent off on a suicide mission that can potentially lead them down the wrong path of dealing with toxic men, or dealing with a situation where they could have a good man, but they've subconsciously ruined it without understanding where that rhetoric has come from. So a lot of these women, if you don't want to do, if you look at that as wifely duties, then consider anything that man do for you as husband duties. That way y'all should stay separate, link up to hook up or whatever. Or I wouldn't even advise men to be hooking up with some of these women. But if that's what you're going to do, link up to hook up, and leave it at that. And a lot of men need to start putting their foot down and stop trying to, bend to, some of these women's wills that have very unrealistic expectations.
I just want to say to the unknown, I do appreciate that, your comments. I do appreciate your input. And don't worry that if it's a live, it could be, it could be technical issues. So do not feel bad. I just want to let you know, the unknown, that we do appreciate your input. And if you're not already a subscriber to the channel, that hopefully that you will consider to do so. Um, so that being said, I find it amazing that when you have some, and again, I'm going to say some. So the ladies out there, I'm saying some. They expect the man to do husband duties as a boyfriend, which is pay the bills and protect and what have you. But yet, um, they have an issue regarding doing wifey duties as a girlfriend. Now, I mean, most of us are able to cook, you know, to a certain extent. Most of us are able to do our laundry. Most of us are able to make sure our apartments are clean, our clothes are ironed, our clothes are washed, and whatever. Most of us are able to do the things that women normally do. What us men and mature men are looking for is that when we dealing with the difficulties of the day and the difficulties of the job, and when we come home, is we need to have a peaceful environment, a nurturing environment, a loving and supporting environment. That is what the healthy male needs. And what the healthy female needs is that we are to play our roles as being the protectors, the providers, and what have you. But really, both, in order for our relationship to work well, you need to have that the male needs to have a healthy attitude and the female needs to have a healthy attitude. Or if it's in the case of a same-sex relationship, both parties must have a healthy attitude. What's your take on that, Rakim?
Absolutely, absolutely. But one thing I would say as well, when it comes to certain women, you got certain women who prefer chaos over peace.
Yep,
They prefer
I
chaos
agree.
over peace. Especially if their upbringing is not the best. Chaos is comfortable to them. Peace is very boring. And then you
Mhm.
got some men who they just outright ruin a relationship because a woman can be too good to them as well. Because they're a piece of crap.
Yep.
They've been a piece of crap for a very long time, and they don't plan on changing. So even when they do get good women, they they uh they don't take the necessary steps to make sure that relationship is intact. But ladies, I would just say, be very careful of certain men. You just have to vet men, and you got to ask yourself as well, ladies, maybe what I'm attracted to is, not good. Maybe I'm attracted to the wrong things when it comes to picking these men. And, hey, and for the brothers out there, hey, like, Belle Biv DeVoe said on Poison, don't trust the big button to smile. So that can't be the only thing that's on your mind and you're going to overlook everything. And that's, everybody's looking, for the wrong things when it comes to relationship. Women are looking for the man that, they may have, nice style. They may, be, built up nice, and men are looking for the same thing. We want a lot of the curves and everything because that's what we've been watching. Both of us been watching on social media and in music videos and on television. And we need to understand that it's much more to a relationship than that. And you have to be willing to sacrifice that if it comes to meeting a good person that could potentially be your life partner down the line.
I just want to let people know that right now we have 7 people watching this stream as we speak, and the link to join the panel is there. Don't be shy, and if you wish to join the link, you're more than welcome to do so. Um, I do appreciate people watching the stream, but we want to make this perfectly clear. Um, these are these are issues that men can have and women can have. So I don't want to I don't want you to think that we're coming across that all women are guilty, women are guilty of doing things to ruin a relationship. Men are toxic. Toxic. It does that. Unfortunately, and again, you have some individuals who are not willing to take accountability when it comes to relationships going south.
Absolutely, absolutely, ladies. You hear me? I'm getting on a lot of these men's cases as well. The difference between the men and the women, a lot of men can't play victim because other men is not going to go for it, and they know that.
No,
So they're forced to take accountability, even if they may not want to. They're forced to take accountability because it's only a certain amount of time when men see the way that you carry yourself in your relationship or see that you're not taking care of your responsibilities as a man, where other men are going to address you as far as what you're doing. At least what I mean, address, have to don't have to be negative about it, don't have to be disrespectful about it, but just let you know that you're not taking care of your responsibilities, and you are the reason you are the reason you're the position that you're in right now. Perfect example. If anybody's ever seen the movie Casino with Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci, when Joe Pesci was speaking to the guy at the bar, I believe they was at a table, and he said, "You know what? You call yourself a man?" He was like, um, "I just got a call." It was another mobster guy. He said, I just got a call from such and such, and he told me that his wife called him, and the lights is out at your house. You don't have any lights. He said they haven't seen you in the last 3 days. You're not providing for your children. You got the nerve to sit up here and call yourself a man to me? And he said, now, what's going on with you? Did you screw up the money? Did you gamble the money away? And he said, don't lie to me. And then the guy, he nodded his head in shame, and he gave him the money to make sure that the lights was taken, the lights was put back on, and hit the house where his wife and his family was, and that the bills was paid. But what did he tell that guy? He said, let me find out that you messed that money up, and I'm going to leave you right where I found you. And that's how a lot of men deal with a lot of men. Ladies on the opposite end, ladies, y'all don't want to tell y'all girlfriends the truth. Y'all don't want to tell y'all girlfriends the truth. Y'all know that y'all girlfriends be toxic. Y'all know that y'all girlfriends like drama. Half the time y'all can't even be around y'all girlfriends. And some of y'all even got girlfriends that you won't even bring around your man. And y'all just not y'all not as honest as y'all should be, especially if it's a situation where you want her to get the help that she needs or she needs to improve herself. Then y'all need to be a little bit more honest. Like a lot of men that are and the difference between men and women is that a lot of women, they'll hang with other women that's on the opposite end of the way that they think. They'll hang with you. You'll have one girl that's college educated, they got everything, got a man, and all her girlfriends will be, women that are toxic women. Men on the opposite end, you don't see a lot of men. Unproductive man, he don't hang in a circle full of men that are productive, because he's not
Mhm.
even gonna feel. He's not gonna even feel in place. I've seen guys try to blend in, but after a while they just couldn't, because they didn't. Whether it be the funds or we talking about going here, we talking about doing this and that, and you don't really have it, or you're not really trying to do anything with yourself. They may not say it, but subconsciously they feel shame, and then they slowly start drifting away to the
Mhm.
point that they don't, it goes from them coming around every once in a while to not coming around at all. So, like, women, y'all gotta do a better job with holding other women accountable, because the men can't do it. We can't tell women nothing, because we in this day and age
Um,
where they don't want to listen. So
well, unfortunately, and I know I'm gonna get some heat with some of the ladies. Some of the ladies, and I said some, accountability. It's like kryptonite. Some, okay. So I don't want any of the ladies start, hitting me with the cyber chancleta, or with the belt to whip my butt just because I'm saying things which are truthful. So what you think, Rakim?
I think I think it's definitely some truth to that. Even and I don't want the ladies to think I'm trying to sound hard or anything, because like I said, I hold men accountable just the same, if not more. And I know it's some women out there, you don't have to say it, ladies, but I know it's some women out there that that if you tell certain women the truth, you're going to get a lot of pushback on that. And that's just what we're dealing with. It's just certain people in general, whether it be men or women, they just want they want all of the they want the milk without having to churn the others. That's what they want,
Mhm.
and they want the free milk. And it's just, after a while, like, you only get so many chances in life, before you know you just stuck at a crossroads. And that's what we're dealing with. And I would say this, more than anything, you have a lot more women that complain about the situations that they're in than you have men, because men know other men don't really, like, if we're quick to tell you, if you screwed yourself over, you screwed yourself over. That ain't nobody's fault but yours. You got to lay in the bed you made. But women, a lot of women realize that they messed up, and it's everybody else's fault but theirs. And if they stuck, it's because all of these men are no good, and all of them are not about nothing, and they all worthless, and they fail to acknowledge the type of men that they was attracted to was toxic men. And it's still things now that they are attracted to certain men that they know these men ain't no good, but they just
Mhm.
can't they just can't override that attraction.
Yeah. It's like they know it's like they know it's not healthy, but it's almost like they're addicted. Before we wrap this up, I just want to let everybody know that this coming Wednesday at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, 7:30 Central Standard Time, and 5:30 Standard Time, Pacific Time, I'm going to be doing a short video stream regarding how to deal with disappointments. So we're going to be talking about that. And again, this is going to be based on my own personal experiences. Some of the things I have, the disappointments that I have experienced. Next Sunday, we're going to be dealing with how do we handle grief. That's something that we all have to deal with because unfortunately we will have to go attend funerals for loved ones and friends who die for various reasons. So that will be on 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I might push the 7 to see. I might push the 7 and see if there's a more of an audience. It's just that, like I said before, as I said in the beginning, I did not want to clash with blunt explaining, but we'll just have to play it by ear. Now, Wednesday, May the 4th, we're going to be doing another interview with another YouTuber, and her name is Sots and Santon. Now, for those who are not familiar with her channel, she's a followed YouTuber. Actually, she's a friend of K-Fit now, and she produces all types of items as far as soaps are concerned. So we're going to have a live interview. And the next stream in Spanish will be on Tuesday, May the 22nd. And the topic will be how to maintain our culture. And I'm just going to say a few words in Spanish. El 22 el próximo mayo se llevará a cabo nuestro próximo stream completamente en español, y la tema sería cómo mantener nuestra cultura. Y la razón que vamos a entrar en este tema es que qué pasa entre la diáspora latina, que después de la primera generación, las siguientes generaciones, poco a poco empiezan a perder aspectos de la cultura como el lenguaje y otros aspectos. Entonces, vamos a hablar cómo a mantener nuestra cultura. So, one of the issues that within the Latin diaspora is that after the first generation, the second generation going forward start to lose slowly the culture, which consists of the language and the history and what have you. So we're going to have a discussion regarding how to deal with that. Also, Sunday, May the 15th, we're going to have a discussion regarding positive femininity, because there is such a thing as positive femininity. So I'm going to be reaching out to females to share their aspects. Of course, everybody is welcome to share their point of view, but I really got to put an emphasis to try and have the ladies to come in to express their point of view. So I'll be sending invitations to K-Fit, Morena, Christina. I'll let Denise know whether she's able to join the stream. That's her situation and things of that nature. So just to give you an idea, how things are. Now, again, as far as the times, it's going to be a little bit more fluid. What I will do is I'll do like a short video during the week, and I'll do a short video on Instagram, um, just to to keep everybody informed. So now we're going to go into final remarks. So, Rakeem, what are your final remarks in regards to this topic?
My final remarks is that I think we covered a lot of ground. Thank you for allowing me on your platform once again, and shout out to you. You're my YouTube dad, Jose, and I want the best for both men and women. I truly do. I'm sorry, if I come off a little harsh to the ladies. I don't mean to, sound very critical. I mean, to have heavy criticisms with what I'm saying. I love women, contrary to popular belief. I love women. I love nurturing women. I love women that um can be very relaxing and soothing. Women that make me smile, women that I can make smile. Women that have a very comforting type of personality. And of course, we don't even have to get into physicality because we know what I like when it comes to that. But it's so much negativity right now, but when it comes to relationships, and you can't have the whole buffet and not bring anything to the potluck. And that's what we're dealing with right now. We're dealing with uh, a group of ladies that feel like I can just have it all just cuz. And when their unrealistic expectations are not being met, and when their unrealistic expectations are not being met, then it's every man's fault, and every man need to step their game up, and you know different things like that. And I think a lot of the men are just tired of the rhetoric. A lot of us are just tired of the rhetoric. You know, just be very cautious on who you pick. Now I understand for some ladies, you know, we were all in our 20s. We was all, we've all made, poor decisions on certain things, but now just, make sure that you're a little bit more wiser and you make, decisions that's going to benefit you, and make sure that you pick a man that's going to make you happy. You might have to sacrifice the six pack. You might have to sacrifice the 6 foot thing. Every man ain't 6 foot. Every man, I believe the average man's height is 5'9". Men, you might have to sacrifice the curves. You might have to sacrifice the big bottom. You might have to sacrifice a lot of those things. You have to look at a woman. Now, if it's something that you feel like you can't get over, you can't sacrifice your attraction, both men and women, by all means, just don't complain about the results at the end. That's all. Just don't complain about the results at the end. If you feel that, you can't sacrifice those attractions, then, whatever you get, that's what you get. But, it's about time for people to take a break from, social media and different things. If you want a real relationship, you know, you gotta, you're gonna have to, shave away some of those unrealistic expectations on both ends. So, that's my final thoughts. That's all I gotta say. And let me see how well my Spanish is real quick. Uh Jose, let me see if I can remember a few Spanish words that I learned back in the day. Let me see here. Uh Hasta luego, que tenga buenas noches. And that's all I
Well
gotta say.
said. Well said, Joaquin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put you in the backstage. So please don't go away. Okay. Now I'm going to give you my final thoughts. Um, we have tried to have a fair and impartial discussion regarding those things that can ruin a romantic relationship. First of all, I want to thank um, Radical Latino for entering his comments earlier. I want to thank Morena for her input. I like to thank the unknown for for his commentary. Unknown, I hope that you will consider subscribing to the channel. You're more than welcome to enter your comments, not just on this stream, but on other streams. So the fact of the matter is, if we want to have healthy relationships when it comes to romance, we need to do things that make sure that, give it the highest possibility that our romantic relationships will be healthy. There's going to be troubles, there's going to be trials, there's going to be tribulations, there's going to be misunderstandings, and that's perfectly fine as far as that's concerned. The main thing is that we try to work together to resolve those issues. And if we're not able to resolve those issues, then the next course may be to go your separate ways and just, not be bitter. That being said, thank you, Rakeem, for your feedback. And again, I just want to encourage everyone to please, if you have not done so, please subscribe, like, and hit the bell notifications to all. So therefore, whenever I do go live or whenever I do prepare material, you will have the opportunity to catch it live or catch it on the playback. And I have a feeling others will watch this stream on the playback. So that being said, I'm going to close the same way I always close. People, do not let the errors of the past damage your future. And we must do everything possible to minimize our contact with the mentally and intellectually challenged, because if we fail to do so, we will be infected by the stupidity and mass insanity. That being said, this has been another episode of Uncommon Sense with Jose Negron. Wishing you a good night and peace out. Strong.